Imagine waking up tomorrow knowing that nothing could shake you. Not your co-worker's attitude, not your overflowing inbox, not even that person who just cut you off in traffic. Sounds impossible, right? Well, 2,000 years ago, a group of ancient philosophers cracked the code to unshakable peace, and their solutions are more relevant today than ever. I'm not talking about a mystical secret or a 10-step program that'll drain your wallet. I'm talking about Stoicism. Today, I'm going to share 10 quotes that have the power to completely transform how you view your life. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down these 10 life-changing quotes and show you exactly how to apply them to your life. No fluff, no complicated philosophy terms, just practical wisdom that you can start using today to transform how you handle everything life throws in your direction. Let's dive in. Our first quote is from Marcus Aurelius. Begin each day by saying to yourself, "Today I will encounter people who are ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and hostile." People have these characteristics because they do not understand what is good and what is bad. Even though Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, he started each day by telling himself, "You're going to meet some difficult people today, and that's okay." This isn't pessimism. It's realistic optimism. He's not saying everyone will be difficult, but rather preparing himself for the inevitable challenges of human interaction. This mental framework does three powerful things. First, it removes surprise from negative interactions. When you're prepared for difficulty, it loses its power to derail your day. It's like wearing armor. The arrow might still come, but it won't pierce as deep. Second, it shifts your perspective from reactive to proactive. Instead of being caught off guard by someone's behavior and reacting emotionally, you've already created mental space to respond thoughtfully. Third, it cultivates empathy. By understanding that difficult behavior often stems from ignorance rather than malice, you free yourself from the burden of taking things personally. Think of it like this. If you saw someone burning their hand because they didn't understand that fire was hot, you'd feel sorry for their ignorance. They may not know any better, but we do. Our next quote is also from Aurelius. The duration of a person's life is only a moment. What then can possibly guide us? Only one thing: philosophy. At first glance, this might sound depressing. A moment? Is that really all we get? But Marcus Aurelius isn't trying to discourage us. He's offering us a kind of liberation. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast canyon, suddenly realizing how small you are. Most people would feel insignificant, but a Stoic would feel free. Because when Aurelius says our life is just a moment, he's not diminishing our existence. He's inviting us to wake up. We spend so much time worrying about things that won't matter in a week. That social media argument or criticism that kept you up at night? Aurelius would look at these and say, "Don't waste your time on these." Think about how we typically live. We're constantly postponing joy, pushing happiness to some future date. I'll be happy when I get that promotion. I'll relax after this project. But Aurelius is saying, your life is a moment, not tomorrow, not next year, right now. Remember, this was coming from a man who was literally the most powerful person in the world at the time. He was leading an empire, dealing with war, plague, and constant political intrigue. And yet he understood that true power comes from understanding the shortness of life. It's about understanding that each moment is an opportunity to live with purpose, with dignity, with meaning. Let philosophy be your guide, not as a set of rigid rules, but as a flexible living approach to navigating the complexity of human existence. Returning to Aurelius again, each and every hour make up your mind steadfastly as a Roman and as a man to accomplish the matter presently at hand with genuine solemnity, loving care, independence, and justice, and to provide yourself with relief from all other worries. With this, Marcus Aurelius gives us a battle plan for daily living. Let's break down what Aurelius is saying, word by word. Make up your mind steadfastly. This isn't about wishful thinking or motivation. This is about commitment, about showing up fully, no matter what task is in front of you. Aurelius is telling you, be all in, as a Roman and as a man. In Aurelius's time, being a Roman meant embodying certain virtues, discipline, honor, responsibility, and being a man, but about integrity, courage, and doing what's right, even when it's difficult. He's challenging you to bring your absolute best self to every single moment. Accomplish the matter presently at hand. How many of us are constantly living everywhere except the present moment? Aurelius is saying, stop, be here, now. Genuine solemnity. This doesn't mean being grim or humorless. It means treating each task with respect. Every action is an opportunity to demonstrate your character. Marcus Aurelius also said this, "Not easily will you find a person who is unhappy due to ignorance of what goes on in another person's soul, but those who do not follow the movements of their own soul will surely be unhappy." At first glance, this might seem like a complex philosophical statement, but Aurelius is offering something far more practical, a roadmap to understanding the true source of human unhappiness. Most of us spend an incredible amount of energy worrying about other people. We scroll through social media, creating elaborate narratives about other people's experiences. We wonder what our colleagues really think about us. We obsess over how others perceive us. But here's the radical truth Aurelius is revealing. Other people's inner worlds are not your problem. They're not the source of your unhappiness. The real source of unhappiness, your own unexamined inner landscape. How much time do you actually spend understanding yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in a deep, honest, introspective way? When Aurelius talks about following the movements of your own soul, he's not speaking mystically. He's talking about honest self-observation, understanding why you react the way you do, why certain situations trigger you, why you make the choices you make. But most people do the opposite. They're like a ship without a navigator, tossed about by external winds. They blame circumstances, other people, the economy, their boss, their partner, anyone but themselves. And in doing so, they remain perpetually unhappy. Self-understanding is not about self-judgment. It's about compassionate observation. If this is your moment, then ask yourself, philosophically, how will you live it? To help answer that, we'll turn to a different Stoic philosopher, Seneca. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. These words from Seneca might be the most powerful antidote to anxiety ever conceived, a simple truth that has the potential to completely transform how we experience life. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the last time you were truly worried. Chances are the scenario you were imagining was far worse than what actually happened. That work presentation you were terrified of probably went fine. That difficult conversation you dreaded turned out to be manageable. The health concern that kept you up at night, often less catastrophic than your mind predicted. This is the insidious nature of human suffering that Seneca understood so profoundly. Our minds are incredible storytelling machines, and often terrible fiction writers. We don't just worry, we create entire catastrophic narratives, complete with worst-case scenarios, dramatic consequences, and emotional devastation. And here's the kicker. These stories feel absolutely real to us. The most successful people you can think of don't succeed by getting paralyzed by imaginary scenarios. They've mastered the art of separating potential concerns from actual problems. They prepare, but they don't catastrophize. Think about how much mental energy we waste on scenarios that never happen. Seneca is offering a radical perspective. Most of your suffering is a product of your imagination, not your actual circumstances. Practically, this means catching yourself when you start catastrophizing, asking, what's actually happening right now? Reality is rarely as bad as we imagine. And when challenges do come, we're often more capable than we give ourselves credit for. Seneca also said, the greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not. In a world constantly screaming that happiness is just one purchase away, one promotion distant, one relationship removed, Seneca is saying something revolutionary. Happiness isn't out there. It's in here, inside you, right now. Most people spend their entire lives on a perpetual treadmill of wanting. More money, better job, bigger house, fancier car. We're told that contentment is something to be chased, acquired, achieved. Seneca says, stop, look inside. The greatest blessings are within us. This is a battle-tested insight from a man who'd seen the highest and lowest extremes of human experience. He was a philosopher-statesman who advised emperors, managed massive wealth, survived political intrigue, and understood human nature at its most complex. He's offering a practical philosophy, the ability to choose your response, the power to find peace regardless of circumstances, the strength to maintain your integrity when everything around you is chaotic. In a world that constantly tells you you're not enough, Seneca is saying, you are. You have the capabilities. You just have to use them. Seneca also said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. These words are a wake-up call to every person who's ever complained about not having enough time. Let's be serious. How many hours have you spent scrolling mindlessly through social media? How many evenings have disappeared into Netflix binges? How many conversations have you had that added absolutely nothing to your life? Time is the most uniform resource we have. Billionaires and street vendors alike get exactly 24 hours. The president and the postal worker, the celebrity and the student. Each of us has the same 1,440 minutes every single day. The difference? How we choose to spend them. Most people don't manage time. They let time manage them. They drift. They react. They fill their hours with activities that contribute nothing to their growth, their purpose, or their happiness. Seneca would look at our modern world of constant distraction and shake his head. We've turned time-wasting into an art form. But here's the liberating part of Seneca's insight. This is a choice. Wasting time isn't something that happens to you. It's something you do. Consider how we typically rationalize our time wasting. I'm just relaxing, we say. But true relaxation isn't mindless consumption. It's intentional restoration. It's not about killing time. It's about living it. Time is not a renewable resource. Once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. You can't negotiate with time. You can't store it. You can't buy more of it. You can only choose how you use it right now. For our last 3 quotes, we turn to our final philosopher, Epictetus. "It is difficulties that show what men are," Epictetus said. "Like a blacksmith's hammer shaping metal, difficulties shape who we become. But here's what makes this insight so powerful. It completely flips our normal view of challenges upside down. Think about the last time you faced a major challenge. Maybe it was losing a job, dealing with a health crisis, or navigating a difficult relationship. In those moments, you probably learned more about yourself than you did during years of smooth sailing. That's exactly what this timeless Stoic wisdom is pointing to. Most of us spend our lives trying to avoid difficulties. We dream of that perfect job where everything goes smoothly, that relationship without conflicts, that life without obstacles. But the Stoics understood something profound. A life without difficulties isn't possible. If we want to improve our life, there must be some. Consider an athlete. They don't get stronger by lifting weights that feel easy. They get stronger by consistently pushing against resistance that challenges them. Our character works the same way. Those difficult conversations you need to have, they're building your courage. That project that seems impossibly complex, it's developing your problem-solving skills. That setback that feels like failure, it's helping to teach you the way out. Because difficulties don't just reveal who we are, they reveal who we choose to be. The question isn't whether we'll face difficulties. That's guaranteed. The question is, how will we use them? Epictetus also said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In a world obsessed with controlling external circumstances, Epictetus offers us a fresh approach. Think about your last bad day. Maybe your computer crashed during an important presentation. Someone criticized your work, or your plans got derailed by unexpected events. What really made it a bad day? Was it the events themselves, or your reaction to them? This simple yet profound insight from Epictetus cuts straight to the heart of the suffering we cause ourselves. We often pour our energy into trying to control things we simply can't. Other people's opinions, the weather, traffic, technology glitches, or countless other external events. But while we're busy fighting these unwinnable battles, we overlook the one thing we actually can control: our response. Consider 2 people facing the same situation. Their flight gets cancelled. The first person becomes angry, complains loudly, and lets this event ruin their entire day. The second person accepts the situation, uses the time to catch up on reading, and maybe even makes some interesting connections with fellow stranded travelers. Same event, dramatically different experiences, all because of their reaction. You don't need to change the world around you to change your experience of life. You just need to change your response to it. Our final quote is also from Epictetus, a poet of the one-liner. "No man is free who is not master of himself." Ask yourself, what does it mean to be free? In our modern world, we often think of freedom in external terms, the ability to go where we want, say what we want, choose our career, or buy what we desire. But this ancient wisdom points to a deeper truth. True freedom begins within. Think about someone who seems to have all the external freedom in the world, Maybe they're wealthy, successful, and can travel anywhere they want. But if they can't control their temper, aren't they still enslaved to their anger? If they're addicted to social media, constantly checking their likes and comments, are they really free? If they're driven by the need to impress others, always buying things they don't need with money they don't have, aren't they prisoners of their own desire? This is where mastery of your inner life becomes crucial. True freedom isn't about the absence of external constraints, because constraints will always be there. It's about developing the internal strength to choose our responses, manage our emotions, and direct our actions according to our values rather than our impulses. Consider your own experience. Have you ever said something in anger that you later regretted? Have you ever procrastinated on something important, knowing you should do it, but feeling unable to make yourself start? In those moments, despite having the external freedom to act, you weren't truly free because you weren't master of yourself. The path to self-mastery involves developing control over 3 key areas: our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. It's about being able to pause before reacting, to choose our response rather than being driven by impulse, and to act according to our values rather than our momentary desires. Think of it like driving a car. True freedom isn't about removing the steering wheel and letting the car go wherever it wants. That would lead to chaos and eventually a crash. True freedom comes from having full control over the steering wheel so you can choose where to go and how to get there. This mastery of self isn't something we achieve once and are done with. It's a continuous practice. Each day brings new challenges, new temptations, new opportunities to either be controlled by our impulses or to exercise our freedom through intelligent choice. But with each small victory, with each moment we choose our response rather than react automatically, we become a little more free. In the end, the greatest freedom isn't the ability to do whatever we want. It's the ability to do what we know we should, even when we don't feel like it. That's the freedom the Stoics promised us. And that's the freedom we seek when we put their principles into action. As we conclude, remember that these weren't meant to be soaring words for a private journal. This is practical advice. True strength isn't about avoiding difficult people or situations. It's about facing them head-on, with understanding, preparation, and the wisdom that Stoicism teaches us. You have the mind of a champion, and you are free to use it. Now get out there and put this wisdom to work. If these ancient insights resonated with you, share them with someone who's struggling with difficult people or situations. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more ancient wisdom that cuts through the noise of modern media. Until next time, keep improving yourself and your life with wisdom, good ethics, and sustained effort. The Stoics showed us the path. Now it's your turn to walk it.